Hello and welcome.
Huh?
Oh man, I had my weird echo thing going. All right.
Did.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Owl Bear Soup, where my friend Charlie's hanging out over my shoulder, and to my other side is my co-patriot in crime. Uh,
Hi. Hello. I got really excited because I'm like, I think I'd be a co-patriot in crime if I was wearing bunny ears. I think that's really the deal. I feel like I'm missing
oh,
out. Part of the costume, part of the dress code.
all right. Well, I will. I'll I will get that in the mail to you, and
Okay.
we'll be
Perfect.
prepared for future episodes. Yeah,
Yes.
I was trying to come up with like a fancy title for you. Like
Mm,
because like Mike Selinker, he's world famous game and puzzle designer.
right. That's interesting. I got excited. I got a job out of like the Canadian education system somehow a couple of years ago, and my job title for that was game mechanic. And I was like, that's cool. there's
Nice.
there's dice and there's me. We're both game mechanics. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. The Neapolitan
Napoleon
Napoleon
puzzles.
of puzzles.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
man.
That's one of my favorite titles is the Napoleon of crime. It's just unbelievably strange and I like it so much.
Right. All right. Actually, let's see here. So, I guess let's kick it off. Do you have anything
Yeah.
you wanna hit on as far as news goes?
Let's see. So this week at the Academy of Adventures, we're having our
Ooh.
spooky times, right? So this is the spookiest season, and the first half of it is like lycanthropes everywhere. And so this time there was a strange eclipse, and it changed reality a little bit. Some planar traits started coming through, but the biggest one is that there was a sudden like outbreak of weird lycanthropy. I don't think it's going to be very clear. At the moment what it is. They're going to figure out what's going on next week, but like they've gone and they've tried to save people in the city around them, and they're getting attacked by like weird ravens and werewolves, but they're all, like if you watch someone transform from a person into a werewolf, they're caught like midway through that and it just kind of
Oh.
pauses, so it's not full, so it's even creepier as we get gross descriptions sometimes. um
That's awesome.
but it's fun. Like the whole city is super dark, so they're walking through these streets, and I made it like 60-foot dark vision type of darkness, like super dark, and they're having fun. They're like, "What's going to be around the next corner?" Like, well, I don't know if I want to go in this building actually, or wait, a footprint, a footprint. Okay, I need to investigate. I'm not walking in there if there's a footprint.
No, 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 no. Let's not deal with feet
Yeah.
prints, feet
Mm-mm,
footprints.
mm-mm. That could be
Uh,
anything.
that could be even a boat. Oh, nice mug there, by the way.
Oh, why? Thank
Um,
you. Hmm.
um,
It's full of my favorite
yeah.
beverage.
Well, fantastic. Let's see. So, you know, I, I should have prepared this ahead of time. I actually kind of want to do a screen share,
Oh,
um, to show off some of the things that I wanted to kind of highlight that I've seen recently in the news. Um, that's right, Aubrey. That could be anything, even a boat.
soup.
All right. All right. We'll do this. This will be a disaster to do live, but whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly,
Uh,
exactly.
what's
Show
the
us your
worst that could
news,
happen?
Justin.
Right. What's the worst that could happen? I show everyone like how everything's made, like how
Oh,
the soup is made.
how the
Oh wait.
soup is.
All right.
Oh, wait, what?
Okay. So first thing. Okay, that's close enough for the screen share.
The
So
spooky
one of the things
adventure.
is yeah, there's been a whole lot of recent talk about new minis coming out from WizKids for various D&D entities, as well as the new ones from Pathfinder Battles. And some of them, yeah, some of them are okay, but some of them are really great. Like, I particularly love this one. I forget what it's called, but it's from Eberron. It's one of those clawy things. I know you can't really see it, Richard, but it's full of all kinds of cool monsters.
Strike.
But I really like this
Mm.
creepy like monster thing with the big pustules on its shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
And then
that's such a good word too. I got in trouble. I had to stop saying the word pustules. One of my kids was like, "Stop."
no, no, let's do it. Like no, yeah, I like these really gross monsters, like this gross like hulking zombie thing.
Ooh,
Um, and then there's some more like adventure type adventures coming out, and those, and I think that's a good always to have some more of these. Unfortunately they did bring more dwarves, but some people like those. And yeah, and then of course, and these I believe are the Pathfinder ones specifically, that I'm showing now, and these are just more Pathfinder adventurers.
yeah.
And they're just really sharp minis. And then of
What's
course I
what do you?
love this
I was
Odia
going
a
to ask.
lot.
Oh yeah. What do you think about those magic effects? What's your take on
Um,
those? As a miniatures fan,
I like them. I don't
yeah.
know. I think they're fun. Yeah. You can do things. Excuse me. If they don't come already colored, what you can do is you can do kind of a light ink wash, and it really like does really cool things with that. So like this water genie type of creature, right? So I imagine that either this is going to be blue on the unpainted mini, or it's going to be clear. And then either
Right.
way, you can kind of do things to kind of like highlight it and make it really pop. And then you can go in even with a dry brush and do a light white dry brushing on it to bring out some of the peaks and make it almost look like bubbles, specifically for this one.
Okay. So
If it was smoke or fire, I might do like a gray.
next time I visit, I'm bringing some of those because I do have some of those I need to paint, and I'm like, how am I gonna do this? But
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
like the
just
idea a lot. Yeah.
this rad squid thing. Let's see what else. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about was Wizard of the Coast is extending their Magic the Gathering in-store plays until January for the COVID stuffs. So
Okay.
uh, due
Good.
due to COVID, not until till January.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I really do need to do that painting stream. I keep putting it off. Life's been busy, everybody.
Right. Right. Sometimes it's hard to just sit down and paint a mini. It's fine, especially that's a big one. That's a
Yeah,
it's not a short little period of time.
yeah. I mean, I can probably knock out a mini in about an hour or so.
Mhm.
Um, so I could do it. It's just the setup and everything. All right, all right, all right. I'm gonna
Okay.
do it. I'm
Okay.
gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Okay.
find a day. I'm gonna do it.
Golly.
I'm gonna do it. Stop twisting my arm.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I take it all back.
January. Yeah, Jaminary. That's exactly
The
it.
perfect time. Yes. Oh,
Oh, all right. What else? I mean, what else is cooking in your world before we get to our
in my
spooky
world.
adventure?
Oh my gosh. No, it sounds like you've got a whole lot more stuff going on. I'm still writing puzzles for the Mission Catastrophe Kickstarter, which I think is launching November 17th, might be it. But there is a new puzzle dropping on Monday, which I'm very excited about. So those are all like little twine adventures, and if you make it through perfectly, bam, you get this special puzzle at the end, gets you like into the grand prize drawing for the whole thing. And I just saw the Kickstarter preview like video for the first time, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy to
Oh
be
yeah.
working on this game. Yeah. It's one of my favorite Kickstarter videos ever was from a game called Posthuman.
Hmm.
Um, and it was a very like detailed summary of how to play it in a narrative sense. It was a lot like your character is wandering through this post-apocalyptic wilderness, and it would like drop the pieces down and show you gathering resources and things like that. So you saw how the game worked, but it was also immersive at the same time. And this video does that, and it just like I got excited.
Oh, nice.
That's what I like. Getting deep into
All right.
Kickstarter.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess let's see here. Is your book Kickstarter completed at this point?
It is, yes, it's all done. So you can still check out shark.vote to learn more about game theory in the age of chaos and kind of check out how to get it by completing democracy tasks. I'm actually not sure what Mike calls them, but that's kind of the deal is different ways to, protect democracy and work and vote and things like that. That should be going until, oh my gosh, what do we have? 9 days?
Uh, yeah.
I
I
don't
think
know.
it's like 9 days.
A short
Let's
number
see
of
here.
days.
A short number of days. Yeah. Yeah, about 9 or 10. Oof,
Yeah.
it's getting close.
Yeah. But that campaign went really well. We're sending the books to I think all the Democratic members of Congress at this point. And I'm just excited to get a new version. The whole thing. It's going to sit on my shelf. It's going to be fantastic. It's a lot of game
All
theory in
right.
there.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to pick it up as well. All right. So, should we get into this spooky adventure?
Yes. I'm so excited for this. Get spooky.
Yeah. So we spent the last 2 weeks talking about how to run a spooky adventure for your players, as well as some ideas on how to write and some resources as far as like inspiration and the general flow of like and I used movies a lot for my reference
Yeah.
in horror, just because that's kind of my go-to as far as horror goes. I read a lot more there instead of books, but I do read some horror novels as well. But I like the idea of, so we've laid the groundwork and now we're diving into it. We're gonna write a spooky adventure this week, and then maybe we'll do a spooky encounter next week. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Um,
Who knows?
but yeah. So assuming we're writing this for the DM's Guild, so we'll play within those parameters to
Okay.
give us a box to kind of work in. Like in what does that mean? That means maybe we're not going to pull a bunch of third party stuff into this, although
Right.
we're essentially just going to do an outline here on the stream, just because it's going to take too long to actually fill it all out. But let's get started. All right. How do you think so normally the way I would start thinking about an adventure and writing adventures, where I'd want the players to get to, and working almost backwards from there. But this is a little bit different, right? This is a scary story, so we can kind of look at it a little bit different way. So I think really the first question we have to ask is, what kind of scary story do we want to tell?
It's a good question. I mean, there are a lot of them. You outlined a lot of different ones before. I like the idea with a lot of the horror movies you were talking about, that you arrive at a scene and the scene has kind of the haunt going, right? You're walking around doing your regular thing, and then boom, you are suddenly in a weird place. I don't know what kind of a story that is yet, but it gives us a lot of like NPCs that could be very strange and used to what's going on, used to the mystery. I don't want us to have a mystery machine driving into, to solve the mystery, but kind of. Holy cow, giant crab mystery, but the crab is the detective.
Interesting. Okay. No. So this is we can work with this, right? So let's see here. So it's already creepy. So let's set the setting. The setting. Well, it's a giant crab, so we're gonna be at a coastal village.
Okay, I'm liking this. I'm liking this already.
Actually, village or town? I'm thinking size here. Towns can be a little bit, or villages can be a little bit more creepy, just because everybody kind of knows each other and it's a little weird.
Right.
Town can be kind of a little bit better for the mystery side of things, where everyone's a little off into town, but there is some anonymity. So which way do you think?
So I guess it depends on what kind of NPCs do you want. Do you want someone in this adventure who is not connected to the mystery at all? Or is everyone you talk to know what's going on? Because I think that's kind of the difference. I think even in a village, you can still have people who are like, the skeptics, or they're against whatever it is, they're fighting back. Or I think a village sounds more intriguing to me.
All right, let's go village.
Town gets a little big. See, as soon as I saw that the crab is the detective, I started thinking about Detective Pikachu. And like the druid has awakened a crab, and the crab is like trying to find out where the druid went or something. How do we get this crab detective in the story? Like, I love this NPC. That's specific.
So what if now I'm gonna kind of go like, and you may not learn all of this about the crab at the beginning, but what if the crab was a local detective? And something happened to him, some kind of spell, something a witch cast a spell on him or something, and then a bunch of murders started to happen, and everyone was like, oh well, that's like they knew about Detective Crab. Detective Crab lived in the ocean, and occasionally he would solve crimes, but all of a sudden all these bodies are turning up and they're looking like they were ripped apart by a giant set of claws. So the village wants to cook Detective Crab, and for all these murders, and he's in hiding, and he's talking to your party to
Hmm.
try to find out. Oh, the crab is an awakened familiar looking for its wizard. That would work
Yeah.
too.
I would like, I mean, something like that. I like the idea that the crab knows more than it can possibly let on right now as well. Like
Uh-huh.
maybe that's, you know, if we go the familiar route, maybe they saw something, but they just don't remember it. They don't know how to say those things. Maybe there was a modify memory cast or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and maybe it is like it's some kind of, you know, like you were talking, some kind of creature from the sea that's responsible for these. And so it doesn't want to kill the crab familiar. That would be against its purposes, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
wizard's done for. um, so, you know, we could build this like defensive nature-based character of some kind, villain who is trying to fight back the humans and
Mm-hmm.
just can't bring themselves to kill this little crab.
All right. So the crab is a familiar,
Hmm.
a extra smart, advanced familiar, and let's see, and his guy has gone. His wizard has gone missing. Their wizard has gone missing.
Right. Um, let's
All
see.
right. What else? What? So this coastal town. What is it? What is it that's brought us here? Why are we here as adventurers?
Hmm. You know, I
They
do
hire the party
like.
as impartial outsiders.
Oh, sure, sure, sure. So
All
this
right.
is okay. So maybe they are um arriving in town for whatever reason, and as soon as they get there, I like the idea that the first scene they have is like saving Detective Crab from a group of angry villagers. Like, let's just put him in the middle of it. Um, you know, the villagers have been looking for Detective Crab for a few days to take them down. And you get there just as Detective Crab is scuttling over a hill with like 5 villagers with pitchforks behind.
So is Detective Crab like a large crab, like an absurdly large crab, or is Detective Crab like a small crab? Because I think this takes us two different ways, right?
It
So one
does.
way we could go is we yeah, the
Uh huh.
we come in, and Detective Crab is a known entity. Is this huge crab, works for the wizard, is a familiar. Or do we come to the village to investigate something and we find Detective Crab as we're investigating?
Right. I guess it could be either one. The thing I'm worried about is that we put people in a situation where they think Detective Crab is a giant crab who is trying to destroy the village, and they defeat Detective Crab. We'll set our
Right.
adventures in a lot of
So
trouble. Um,
yeah, and we have to be a little bit careful to not go too much into our Detective Crab like mystery solving, because remember,
yeah.
we're spooky stories. So um, here's my thought, and it. I love the villagers having butter and a fire going
Mhm.
if it's the giant crab, um,
Sure.
which is probably medium size. Yeah, yeah, giant crab, which is medium size. Yeah, like I think that would be good. A medium sized crab, so it's big enough so and the villagers just know of it because they know of the wizard who usually protects their town.
Right. And I mean, let's get in here as well, just to add a couple features, right? Is this crab? Does it have interesting markings? Is it wearing a top hat? Like, what is going to stop the players from instantly killing this monster? Because we could add those things. As soon as you hear those, you're like, wait, a what? A who? Um, and I almost like the idea that this character is a little bit more interesting at the start, even if we're about to get spooky. This doesn't feel like the spooky part of the story just yet,
Yeah.
but I think it'll lead
Let's
us
see.
there.
Let's see here. The villagers know that Detective Crab works for the wizard who normally protects the town.
Hmm.
The adventurers were hired to come to the town to find the wizard
Right, right. They're looking for the wizard
by
specifically.
by um, Detective Crab.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Do they know the character they're looking for is this
Who
crab before they get here?
wears a top hat and cane or cape? I
Um,
don't think they. I don't think they do. I
okay.
think that I think that's part of the fun, right? Is they show up. They have this detective crab, right? Or it could even be detective crabs, or we could even spell it like with two B's,
Uh,
and like that. So it looks more like
oh
a
yeah.
last name, Detective Crabs, and and so they show up looking for Detective Crabs, and meanwhile, while they were making their way there. Uh, the villagers have turned on Detective Krabs,
Right.
and they think he's responsible. Whoop. So they are about to cook him when you show up.
Oh.
Hired via letter, signed DC. And to discover a crab when they arrive. I thought about that. I thought about doing DC.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that's great, but the issue is like, are your players going to put together DC and Detective Crab when they see a crab getting threatened by villagers? I mean, I
Right.
guess we could figure out a way to make that work.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I do like the idea that they're not sure what's going on somehow. So when they see this crab, they're like, "What?" I mean, that's what I want out of this moment.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think they I think they would put it together if we said Detective Crabs. I think that would be enough if it was a
Hmm.
crab with a top hat and a monocle, or a cape. A cape? I don't think a monocle because a monocle might be kind of fun. All right, here we go. So, all right. So now we've gotten. So let's see here. So scene one. The players arrive. We have our background of why they're going here, but the players arrive in scene one. So in scene one, they show up, and the crab is about to be cooked. So breaking things up in scenes for me is the way I like to think about things. So whenever I'm thinking, I think a lot like in fourth edition D&D, where you have milestones, and that's how I like to put together these kinds of stories for players. So I think encounter one / scene one. Um, oh, absolutely, the crab is speaking common. Um,
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
we could turn this into a haunted mansion type adventure as opposed to a coastal creepy adventure because the wizard normally lives in a spooky castle on a hill
That could be.
and they've gone missing. And now we have to go investigate.
So I like the idea of investigating the house for sure. That's good spooky. Um, I also like I've got this weird okay.
Yeah.
I have this weird vision.
Okay. All right,
Because
bring it.
you mentioned right claws, right? Things getting destroyed by claws. And
Yeah.
immediately I start looking for monsters that might strangely fit that archetype, right? So I go start looking around for monstrosities that might live on the coast. I get to Manticore, but that reminded me very quickly that the Theros book had new rules for constructing chimeras. And I think
Oh.
we could develop some terrifying chimeric monster. Coast creatures in here, building it off the body of a coastal or aquatic creature to do some wacky stuff. So I think we could, beyond the spooky, also have like a ridiculous monster here, kind of near the end,
Yeah.
or at
Yeah.
some point.
Oh man. Yeah, have to deal with their hostile arcane experiments. So, um
And
now
this could be an experiment too. Oh my gosh.
this could be. Okay, so let's figure out. So scene let's figure out some scenes. So scene
Sure.
one, the players arrive. So scene two, Yeah, there we go. If you want to go darker, the villagers could be off somehow. Like they have a fierce looks, hunger in their eyes, holding knives and tools, ready for the kill. There could be some reason for this tied to the wizard.
Oh yeah, like what it. It okay, there is an episode of Star Deep Space Nine. There we go. And there's this colony, and there's this thing that appears in the sky, and like the priest has to stand up and like give a speech saying, "We're all super cool. We're gonna stop you." And the thing doesn't kill them all, but if no one gives that speech, it does. So I think it's all fake. I'm trying to remember how that one works. It's no Brian
Hmm.
episodes. Not my favorite, but like there is this moment where this wizard could be doing something to stop evil from hitting this town, and the missing wizard also triggers the secondary thing. Could make the village a little creepy. um so maybe it's you find the wizard, and the wizard is not in shape to fix this thing. You have to do it to end this thing. Maybe something like that going on near the end, but that's a final scene sort of thing.
Yeah, but let's talk about that. Let's go to the final scene. I mean, to be honest, like I feel like in a horror you have to have a twist, and unfortunately, when you're writing an adventure, you get to know the twist ahead of time, right?
I mean, yeah.
Right. So here we go. Right. So we'll go at the very beginning, and we go the wizard. Uh, the wizard is the crab, and
Oh,
the village is his experiment.
oh, I like this. This is a good twist. Okay.
Right.
So is the like is it usually a very nice village is the deal? Does the wizard like pull their better natures up, and then because the wizard is now a crab, it's all falling apart? Or is this area like a place people shouldn't be? Are there like planar elements to this zone that makes it unfit for humans? For humanoids?
Well, I think like I think oh man. So I always like the entire thing was a ploy from the beginning
Mhm.
idea, and I love the idea that the crab is in on this. Like he turned himself into a crab just for this thing, or even the crab is a wizard as a crab. Like he just likes being a crab, whatever. Um, but the experiments are what make the village like Teos was pointing out, like they could be somewhat off, right? Because
Mhm.
of the wizard. Like so what you're doing is eventually you'll get to this point where you have to confront the wizard, and by getting rid of the wizard, you kind of lift this pressure off the village, and everyone's feeling a little less like you go back to the village, and like instead of everyone being kind of pallid with sunken in cheeks and almost dead eyes as they're just kind of going about their days, like the sun is coming up at the very end, right? And
Uh-huh.
everyone's like stretching, and everyone's like rosier cheeks and smiling, and there's kids
Mhm.
playing, right? There's that scene, the scene, the scene of false safety, right?
Oh,
And so
yes.
then you could also have a twist that kind of happens at the very end, where it's like uh you know extra scene, a dozen crabs with top hats come crawling out of the surf, right? That's that extra scene, but
Mhm.
getting to that extra scene, right?
Just right there. You always need that. Like just as everybody walks over the hill and starts heading
Right.
back to Waterdeep, just do 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 do, they start coming out. I like that. Um, that also. I mean, now I'm interested in a beast that is like clearly the product of like human experimentation, but now has these huge crab claws and whatever else.
Hmm.
There is some sort of creepy amalgam there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, I like cancerization as well. If I remember correctly, that is like the slow process of turning things into crabs, but I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to actually look it up on Wikipedia. Um, but
Wow.
because so really interesting thing about crabs, right, is separately several different species have all evolved into crabs, right? Like
Oh.
different source species, because
uh,
it's such an efficient model for what they do in the wild. So that's why we get like different crabs and different, but there's all crab anyway.
wow.
Um, yeah. So that's a thing
No
to think
idea.
about, right? Okay, so. All right, so I love the idea that the village is the wizard's experiment. The wizard is the
Okay.
crab, and part of what he the wizard wanted was the party to show up because he wanted to test his chimera, right? And so essentially you're going to go into the haunted house and deal with various chimera and other weird ghostly apparitions and strange traps,
Hmm.
and meanwhile, the crab is going to be hanging out with you the entire time. And, you
Uh-huh.
know, occasionally there's going to be little hints that, throughout the thing peppered that the crab is all like, oh, maybe we should go this way. Right. And it leads to something where it's like, oh, you know,
Whoops. I like that. I was just thinking about the crab being like, "Oh gosh, I don't know why this is here. I told the wizard never to build this.
right.
Some
Exactly.
wicked dastardly trap."
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
a let's see. So a helpful spell, by the way, for all of this would be mind blank.
right.
Um, it doesn't mess up lying so much, right? But sensing your emotions or reading its thoughts. Does mind blank stop people from telling if you're lying? What do you think?
Yes.
And any effect that would sense its
It,
emotions or read its thoughts, divination spells, and the charmed condition.
divination. Yeah. So, yeah. I
Okay.
don't know. Like, here's the thing: is I think we're dealing with a sorcerer, not a wizard, actually, because we have high
Okay.
charisma.
Mhm.
Um, but they are kind of the sorcerer who dabbles in magic and does it
Uh,
in a very interesting way. So, but I think we're thinking high charisma, so it's going to be able to deceive really well.
okay. Okay. So
Um,
we'll bank on that strategy.
yeah, yeah,
Get
and then
that.
on top of that, maybe doing a mind blank type of thing, or
Yeah.
maybe it's a multi-class wizard or dual class wizard,
Right.
or maybe it's just a corrupt bard. I don't
Could
know.
be.
Nobody likes bards. It's probably a bardic dwarf. Um, all right. So okay. So now we have our idea. Final scene. The wizard is the crab, and the village was his experiment, and he wants something from, and they want something from the PCs,
Mhm.
and that is to test the chimera.
Right. And now I'm really excited about this scene because I know the question I have now is this a chimera battle and then a wizard face off, or is this a chimera battle and then halfway through when we hit that like bloodied mark, the crab goes like it's on now and turns into a wizard, or the sorcerer rather, and continue like is now there two foes during this final scene or
Yeah. No, I think the betrayal it happens in that
right
final
there.
encounter. Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh yeah. No, I like that twist too. Is the party can navigate the castle on their own, but if they ask the crab for guidance, it inevitably leads them to trigger traps and fight monsters as part of its experiment.
Yeah, which I totally agree with. I think, if I were writing this up, because I'm paranoid, I would make like a sidebar that was like how to play Detective Crabs.
Yeah,
Like how what is your process going to be while you are lying to the PCs the entire I think it's very hard to have a betraying NPC at the group because invariably, if we were in organized play, someone would have an insight check of plus 20 and it would be hard to lie. And I can't write an adventure where, I take the crab's deception bonus and make it that big. So,
but you make that
so
deception bonus on top of using mind blank, on top of using other spells, right?
exactly. So I would try to
So
bust in with the preparation or make some sort of, trait that makes the scene easier to lie in or something like that. Like add a fear
yeah,
component. So I don't know, something.
exactly. Oh, I mean, right here, absolutely. Let's add a fear component of this area. Component of the area. So and that's easy enough, right? So once every so often, and we can figure out what the fear component is, because I mean, this chimera and this wizard, like, they're gonna have an ability to affect the area around them, like many
Right.
powerful monsters. So part of that is social checks are at disadvantage,
Right. Maybe you
or
realize
wisdom
that as you're
checks.
could be wisdom checks, period, because there is like a fog as well. So, your vision is a little obscured. I like that because you're going to figure that out as you're dealing with the villagers in the first place, not the crab, right? If they're coming out and yelling and fighting, you're going to try and like calm them down or notice things about them and realize that you just can't get a read on them. And maybe you start to take that for granted before, you focus on like, hey, is this crab lying to me?
Exactly. Right? Yeah. So initially, like even dealing with the villagers, like you come in and you roll an insight to try to figure out what's going on. In the miasma, is that right? Miasma? Yeah. Of the area just is so oppressive that you find you have disadvantage on let's not even make wisdom checks. Let's make it wisdom rolls.
Oh, wow.
Now but let's also be careful about this too, because we know that we're giving disadvantage on wisdom rolls, so we're not going to use a lot of spells that target the wisdom saving throw. But that just also
Sure.
But it makes it more scary. But as part of the adventure design, whenever we're picking spells, we're picking effects, the occasional one here or there, but not where it's so dangerous, just where it's a little dangerous and it kind of shakes them a little. Oh
Right.
yeah, the Witcher
we might add it for some.
yeah.
Oh, for sure. I was thinking about some minor illusions maybe, but nothing like so drastic that disadvantage or whatever is messing with you. This setup does mean that clerics with who are using attack spells are in a little bit of trouble.
Well, I mean,
But
they're using attack spells, but they're not rolling wisdom rolls.
well, if they're casting spells that take wisdom, that's what am I thinking of? They cast a guiding bolt, right? Isn't that a wisdom?
Right. Well, yeah. Well, then the enemy is at disadvantage on wisdom save, so wizards have or clerics have a bonus.
I see. Okay. All right. So we're gonna fair enough.
Unless it doesn't affect monsters, right? Unless it doesn't affect people who are affected by the area.
Right. I do like this. I like this oppression, because then it feels, if you're messing with clerics, it starts to feel like, is divine? What the heck is going on around here?
Yeah.
I think that also helps throw it from a crab. And if you I would give the clerics, like, give them a rest. Give them maybe this is our scene too, is you rest in the town. The crab is like, let's go investigate tomorrow. We can camp on the way if you want, but like put the building out long enough that anyone who realizes this effect is happening can re-choose their spells.
Okay.
That would give us an opportunity for something scary to happen.
Absolutely.
At night too, before we get to the house.
Yeah, so scene 1, the players arrive. They show up. The crab is about to be cooked. They rescue the crab. The crab tells a tale of woe about how his wizard master
Oh no.
has disappeared in the castle, and he can't find him, and it is driving the villagers mad. The secret is they were already mad the entire time.
But we're here to fix it.
Right? Yeah. All right. So now, so then he says, okay, let's go rest. We'll go rent a room. You just hide me in your backpack or whatever. It'll be all good. They won't try to cook me. Or you've convinced them not to cook me. Let's rest. So we'll go investigate the town tomorrow. So, starting with dinner, and this kind of really leans into what we were talking about like last week and the week before, where you want to do these when you're doing these descriptions of some of these things like dinner, right? Something mundane, just go overboard in the way you're describing it, and make sure you're using like gross words, right? The sludge.
Sludge, yes.
The sludgy broth.
Yeah, right. This
Peppered with
colorless gruel. Yeah.
chunks of colorless meat. Yeah.
Yep. For sure.
Right. Just on and on. Right.
Right.
There's
It's
like
another one where like, oh yeah, go ahead. Go.
Slimy vegetables.
Oh, jeez. I was just
Right.
thinking when you get to your room, you realize that they've hastily removed the padlocks from the outside, that you could use. So,
Oh
like
yeah.
there's a sliding bolt on the outside and they've just removed it. You can still see like the holes from the nails and the discoloration.
Right. Yeah. The rooms had locks on the outside.
Hmm. But now they don't, so it's gonna be safe. Don't worry.
No, they don't. Let's see. When asked, this building used used to be a sanitarium before the wizard came.
Whew.
There we go. I think we got a creepy first night in town right there.
Right, it's just kind of a couple odd things at the start that you're wondering about, you're questioning. You don't see any signs of trouble. Maybe you get a moment to talk about the noises that you hear
Mm-hmm.
during the night. Maybe there is a um, another murder in the morning or something, so they get to see the crowd kind of react to whatever is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, let's move to scene 3, right? So here we are, scene 3. The morning. All right. So yeah, the heroes awaken awaken to a grisly murder.
right. And so now this is their opportunity to get some, right? I see this, I'm going to make a medicine check, right? I want to investigate. I want to get a sense about what is actually going on here. If it's not a crab, what could have done this? So, like, and this could be like, we get our chimeric features coming out. Like, yeah, there's definitely claw marks, but you also find some, what else do we have here?
Uh,
Some signs of
ooh,
poisoning or something. Yeah. Yeah.
I love the idea of like a series of like 6 perfectly circular holes in the
Oh,
flesh, right?
yeah. Yeah.
In the flesh of like this, their side. So it's not like we don't think vampires, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
6
The
claw
claws are already getting you, but that's weird. We don't know
and a
what that is. We don't really want to know.
yeah. They note that the blood is thick, black, and tarry.
Hmm. And let's throw something good in here as well. Something ridiculous. What if they look at it and they also see like some remnants of like necrotic energy of some kind? There's a
Oh
necrotic
yeah,
energy breath weapon chimeras can have.
like a detect magic shows remnants of evocation magic, probably.
Yeah, yeah. But like there's, the legs look a little withered or something. We don't know
Oh
what
no,
that's from, but
necromantic magic. That's right.
oh yeah, that's a good point. Just get into it. It would be necromancy, right? Because obviously someone just got healed. My favorite necromancy spell.
Right. Oh man.
Uh,
All right.
yeah, I'm all in my head about this chimera. That doesn't have to be the thing, but I love that it gives you. My favorite thing is it gives you these like 4 different abilities, and when you realize they come from the same thing, that's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Now, do we want the crab to be able to lend any assistance to this? What does the crab say about this?
That's a good question. The crab has been investigating these scenes for a while, so maybe the crab is giving you advantage on your investigation checks, just pointing out some of the things that you've noticed or they've
Mm-hmm.
noticed. They can kind of confirm. um, I like that because then it's still player focused instead of just letting the
Mm-hmm.
crab do all the work. um,
Even though the crab knows everything,
Crab knows everything.
crab
Yeah.
knows that this was the chimera.
Hmm. Right. And so maybe if there's another feature, maybe they've also seen, maybe it's like all of the murders have been slightly different. If we want to add like a 4th feature or something that this one's missing, but
Yeah.
The scene is
Yeah,
mostly like, yeah,
come up with strange features for the other murders too, but maybe like one or two things are always common in all of them.
right. So the claws for sure. But yeah, they
Yeah,
could just make stuff up. I mean, this is a total lie. This is a fabrication, probably.
absolutely,
like,
absolutely. Yeah, no, this is total lie, 100%. Right? You know,
you know,
Krabs is making this up on the spot.
right? All the
So,
other bodies have been like returned to the sea. They're, the village just
mhm.
sent them out. They're
Yeah,
done. You can't go
yeah,
see them.
yeah. I
Um,
think that's important too. This village. Let's put this up here in our general notes. This
oh,
village sends their dead to sea.
yeah. Let me ask you an important question because for me, this
Oh
is
yeah.
really important. We just gave our characters a chance to rest. Are they high enough level to cast Speak with Dead right now?
Let's see. What level is Speak with Dead? Speak with Dead
Third
is
level.
a third level spell, so they would have to be fifth level to cast it.
Mhm. So is this a tier 1 adventure or is it tier 2?
Oof, that's tough. Yeah, no, I think they're tier 2. I think they can cast Speak with
Okay.
Dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, right, we need to make sure we've got that little bit. It's always a good note to write in because this person did
Yeah.
see the chimera. Um,
Yeah. Well, or did
and-
they?
I mean, that's true. But
Right.
either way, we should write, a little note about what they experienced just in case. And maybe
Yep.
that's in, yeah, like the introduction to this scene or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Something simple like I heard a noise. Then I felt 6 pinpricks
Mhm.
on my side, and then black.
Right. And then I didn't see it. I felt a lot of things after that.
Yeah, exactly. Right,
Mhm.
something simple like that. Like, and we could
Yes.
we could we could definitely, yeah, we could definitely make it cryptic, more cryptic. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Like Teos was
Yeah.
saying. So, something where it gives them some clues, but it doesn't quite give them the answers. It just makes it
Right.
adds more mystery, adds more depth, adds a little bit more fun to it.
Yeah. This is one of those moments, though, that because I know we want this to develop our mystery, but it is also a way to kind of get around some things. So we got to be careful about
Mhm.
like writing that down. Other things
Exactly.
is this person now that they're dead, are they still um are they immune to the experimental nature of this place? Are they free from the fear that they had? Do they have a different viewpoint on the town at this point? I mean, there's a lot of ways we could go with that just because now we're talking to a
Yeah.
ghost.
Yeah, think about the experiment. Oh man, my spelling's off today. Think about this experiment and how it affects the ghost.
Yeah.
So
Which we would sort out.
yeah, yeah, which we can kind of sort out as and this might be a perfect thing for us to jump back to later. This opportunity for them to use Speak with Dead, and give them some more information based on the uh, rest of the adventure.
Yeah, we could also, if
I
we wanted to, if this seems like a minor thing, have the crab give them the ability to cast Speak with Dead somehow, like an old crystal that they have that they've been using to cast Speak with Dead, once a week or once a new moon or something like that.
Mhm. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, speaking with multiple dead would help piece together the whole thing. Yeah, Speak with Dead is
Right,
limited to what the corpse knew in life. So yeah, so they wouldn't know afterwards anything new, but they might
right.
see things differently or experience it differently. And I think that's going to be important to kind of talk about a little bit
Yeah,
whenever we're writing out the dialogue for this. But I think it's perfect to have like something happened and that they were able to perceive it, and then it's nothing, right? Because it's just so
right.
quick from the chimera.
Yeah, we can have a what were you doing sort of thing before. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. So I think we've done a decent job about setting this as a weird scene.
Yeah.
Speaking animal, we're right in Rime of the Frost Maiden territory. And
Mm-hmm.
we've got, a scary building. We've got a grisly murder in the morning. Seems like it's time to start heading off towards the castle.
Yeah,
Our creepy thing's well, we need to build the creepiness along the way, no matter what.
we
Like,
do.
this is a scarier center of the adventure. So let's see.
Well,
Um,
yeah, I mean, easy way to do that right off the bat is, it gets foggier. It's already foggy. It gets foggier as you approach the castle.
mhm. um, the
No,
village
no
has
footprints.
started. No footprints, right? I was going to
Mhm.
say the village has started um, fishing crabs from the sea and painting them and hanging them in the trees as a
Yeah,
warning. They
yeah,
the claws are hollow and so they jangle and they clack together in the wind. Stuff in trees is always a good one. As soon as I saw it, I was playing The Witcher 3, and they had that, and I was like, "Good work, good work."
yeah, yeah. And they jingle like wind chimes, creepy wind chimes.
Creepy wind chimes.
What else is creepy about this? Of course, there is a gate, and the
Oh
gate is uh, practically sealed shut with vegetation, with dead vegetation.
yeah. Okay.
I'm just picturing the Adams family house now. Sorry.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah,
Oh
and we
yeah,
could do this thing.
even Detective Krabs can, if no one in the party could, Detective Krabs could cast Speak with Dead and lie about what the corpse said.
That
And it
is
only
true.
works once per corpse too. So if he got first dibs on it, then another wizard wouldn't be able to do it.
That's true. That is true. That would be
All
fun,
right.
right? There's so many
Yeah.
options for that one, and I like giving it to the players because they might do it on their own anyways. That means we don't have to write two different versions of this.
Yeah.
But I do
Yeah.
like Detective Krabs having more opportunities to lie.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So here we are. So the castle approach. This is where we're going to build the creepiness along the way. So it's foggy. There's no footprints. There's crab chimes. The gate is practically sealed shut with dead vegetation, which this on its own is a little interesting too, because, how did our crab get out? How does anyone ever get out or get in? Right? With a let's talk about the vegetation in a nature check. Right? Will tell you these plants died 30 years ago. Right?
Okay,
Yeah, something like that. Or we could even
right?
make it a little bit longer. Like I don't want to make it hundreds of years, but make it like, 70 years ago,
Yeah,
and it's beyond the lifespan of your typical adventurer, your typical wizard, that type of stuff, right? And
right.
so it's just like, wait, nobody's come or left like through normal means since then, right? So
Yeah.
I think,
So there could be a secret tunnel in and out. Absolutely. See that in the chat. I was also thinking an underwater entrance because
oh
depending
yeah,
on what this chimera is, I wouldn't want our characters to find it too easily. Um,
no,
but yeah, if I see this gate and it's sealed shut, I might look for a different entrance instead of just scaling it and trying to, you know, hit the front door.
yeah. And so what happens when the adventurers ask Dr. Crab, Dr. Crab, Detective Krabs, how to get in?
Detective Crabs. And let's see, we could just say that, right along the bottom, if we wanted to, there's a tiny little gap that he just kind of nestled his way through. It's not going to work for all of you, but Detective Krabs can get through here.
Yeah. I mean, they could get through, but it's tough. And Detective Krabs has a hard shell, so all the
Right.
thorns don't bother
The
him.
thorns don't hurt. Yeah. Right. So it just
So
gets
there's
through
a
and
gap
just,
detect.
just sacrifice. Come on. You can do it. We
Yeah.
got a mystery to solve.
Exactly. So there's a gap that Detective Krabs crawled through. It is filled with thorns. Because remember, Detective Crab is medium size, so he's about the same size as our PCs.
Right.
Um, so
Oh,
it's
that's
filled
right.
with
I keep thinking small.
yeah, yeah. It's filled with thorns that do no damage to Detective Krabs,
Mhm.
but
Right.
do, like, let's see, we're saying they're about level 5, so I think they do 2d6 damage to
Right.
anyone who crawls there.
Doesn't need to be substantial, especially because some parties are just going to burn it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. then that's totally an option. So, but this also gives a a, another interesting clue to what all is going on too, right? Because the only creature that we know of who has any way of entering and exiting is Detective Krabs because of that.
Right. Oh, I like it. I like it. Right. They're going to ask Detective Krabs, "We'll have the wizard get in and out." And like,
Magic.
yeah, wizard's got magic. Wizard, very isolated character, and use magic to get in and out. This is a defense, right?
Yeah.
I love the idea that they walk up the stairs, they get to the front doors, they open them up, and there on the wall is a painting, a portrait of the wizard.
Yes. Scene 5, the castle. Let's see. So first thing they see when they enter. Oh well, I mean, there's still even entering, right? So there's the entrance. So walking through the courtyard, right? Walking
Right?
through the courtyard.
Spooky gardens, ancient statues. Oh yeah.
Garden.
Is that probably at this point totally dead garden?
Yeah. Yeah, big creaky front door.
Mm-hmm.
That takes some effort to open.
Wizard doesn't need to open that door.
Oh. And then yeah, so once and so the castle is essentially going to kind of work a little bit like a dungeon crawl, I'm going to imagine.
Yeah.
And so we can definitely talk about some of the features of this dungeon crawl. One of those features is going to be a big painting of the wizard in the entryway.
Finally, our antagonist revealed. I mean, no, ooh, gosh, who knows what's going on right now? Who knows what the players believe?
Ooh, oh, I like that. Spooky gardens with eyes that seem to be, or the PCs have the feelings that they're being watched.
Yeah.
A little bit more of the less of the show and more of the tell, like oh, they feel this, but they don't see why they feel this, that type of stuff. Yeah.
Right. I like that when they get up here, there is there are small underfed rabbits or something that race away as soon as you walk in.
Oh, I love that too. Love it. Love it. Okay. Let's see here. So in general, let's see. In general, it's low light here. There are flickering candles lit here and there that just add to the shadows. Always seems to be a breeze. A draft is the appropriate word for this.
Draft.
That causes tattered curtains to flitter about.
Right. I like
ceiling
that because that
are 10 feet tall unless otherwise.
Right. I like the draft because that gives me two ideas. One, this is spooky, and then two, there's a secret door somewhere, right? That's where drafts come from. Secret doors.
Right.
I gotta find it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's the thing is, I feel like nearly every room, and this is going to be great because I think this will be a ton of fun for everyone. Nearly every room has a secret door.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. And every time you find one, you're like, oh my gosh, I found something great. And then you end up in a bedroom, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It's and a lot of the secret doors just lead to secret hallways that lead to other secret doors that show you into other rooms, or like you have like little peepholes into rooms and stuff.
Right.
So, yeah, secret hallways, peepholes, all those fun, creepy things. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Let's talk about a couple of the rooms that they might run into in this adventure,
Sure.
and then let's talk really briefly about the final scene where that takes place.
All right.
They're going to find bedrooms. They are going to be filled with dust. They are going to look very old. libraries filled with old books in dead languages.
Hmm.
What else? Oh, a gruesome scene has to happen in the kitchen.
Okay, sure. I was just thinking the same thing. What's gonna be in
Yeah,
the kitchen?
right. And this is the only place that where so far where you enter the kitchen, and you don't. This is the only place that's not covered in dust, right?
Right.
The only place not covered in dust, at least so far.
Right. So what do we find
Uh,
here? I mean, you know,
is
in
long
is it
metal.
the murder victims that were released in the sea and we have found them? Are they here? Do we find them in like, a secret basement somewhere at some point? That could be interesting.
That
Chimera is
could
going to
be.
eat them.
So my thought was we show up and there's just like there's the long metal prep table and there's like huge cleavers hanging and there's chunks of meat on the prep table,
Hmm.
very fresh, uh, and there is a secret room because there's one in nearly every room. Secret room that leads to a fridge with hooks hanging from the ceiling because
Uh
we
huh.
love tropes. We love tropes in horror. And you see some of the villagers.
Right. So you can tell from their wounds, things like that. I like that. So it is hidden here. So you get this. This would be. I mean, also we haven't had a lot of combat in this. It is kind of
Yep.
an investigation for the most part. So this could be a possibility for a combat scene in that kitchen if we wanted to. Some
Yeah.
sort of assistant, um,
Yeah.
or interloper. It's hard to say how they would
Yeah.
connect.
I like the idea of having like other strange abominations in here as well. Like, like some of the servants are like, like that one mini I showed earlier, like, has the pustules and,
Mhm.
and then he attacks. And then, Detective Krabs is like, I don't know what's going on. This is all so
Yeah.
strange. Like,
Right.
this doesn't look anything like the castle looked when I was here last, right?
Right. Yeah. I've been gone a long time investigating these things.
Or not even
Um,
a long time. Like, it was, I was here last week and
ooh, I like that actually. Yeah, much better.
yeah.
So yeah,
Krabs
absolutely.
says,
As you're
okay.
moving through these secret hallways, you do want to see something out those
Yeah.
people. So
Hmm.
I would love to get a glimpse of a creature. I can't really bust through the wall to attack them, but I'm gonna try and hide from them,
Right.
try and sneak up on them. Find the butler. I find this chef of some kind.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the chef could be an encounter, right? Chef encounter, chef fight. Let's put that in there. All right. And then we finally find a laboratory, right? So this would be
Right.
final scene, the lab. And this is where you confront the chimera and eventually the wizard.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, oh yeah, definitely scene from the Little Mermaid, right? That was
Right.
scary as a child. And then the extra scene, you get that little bit of extra dread. And then I think we essentially have like the great starts of a nice spooky adventure right here.
Yeah.
We could definitely go through and fill out some of these scenes, add some encounters, dig into it more. That's where you start adding some of the text, some of the way the NPCs are going to interact with each other, the way they're going to
Yeah.
interact with the player. And I think even having a little section in the front, like how people react to certain backgrounds or certain other like races, species, sub races, that type of stuff. Having some of that in here as well. And doing a lot with the atmosphere, right? It's
Yeah.
cold, it's kind of clammy, like there's always a low fog, that type of stuff. And I think we're a good spot for this adventure.
I agree. Like filling out those. I love those elements. We talked about them last time. So getting
Hmm.
those from Heroes of Horror or wherever else you find your creepy elements and adding them in is huge. Use those weird spell descriptions too in your final battle
Hmm.
with this evil wizard sorcerer thing.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe next week, what we'll do is when we get back together next week, we'll get together and we'll build the encounter that one of the encounters. Like I love the idea of
Yes.
maybe building out the kitchen encounter or building out the final encounter,
I want
or
to make a
just
chimera.
or a random encounter. All right. You
Yeah.
know what? Let's so the plan for next week is going to be we're going to build out the final scene, the encounter in the
Okay.
lab. And if we have time, we'll do the encounter in the kitchen. But otherwise, I think we're kind of done for today, just due to
Yeah.
time wise, and we got a great little outline here. So I think this will be a ton of fun to run at some point, along with our our cooking adventure where we cook axe beaks.
Yeah.
Um, and
Detect.
immediately after the axe beak cooking, they have to go rescue Detective Krabs. Um, yeah. So I think that's it for today. And then we're not going to be streaming tomorrow. We're going to dive into the feats at some point. We need to figure out scheduling. I have a
Wrap
thing
up the
on
fighter.
Monday nights now. We've wrapped up the fighter. We're moving into feats. We're just going to
Oh,
do
I
all
thought we
the
were doing
feats.
fighter feats. Okay, no, we're just
Oh
doing
no,
feats.
yeah, I thought we were going to do feats A to Z, right?
Oh,
And
perfect,
just kind of
perfect.
talk about
Yes.
them, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do that soon. Pay attention to Discord, pay attention to Twitter, and all that, and we'll let you know when. And then other than that, you can see me on Thursday where I'll be DJing house music and watching scary movies. And then next Saturday, I will also be DJing dance music. But I am going to have a special guest. Aubrey is going to be joining me for my Saturday stream for our special Halloween stream. So that should be a ton of fun. We're going to do it in the afternoon sometime. So pay attention to Twitter and Discord for that as well. And Rich, what do you got going on? Any shout outs that we should mention before we wrap up?
Gosh, I don't think so. I would love it if folks went and played those Mission Catastrophe games and let me know what you think, because they are fun to write and fun to see. And I want the game to come out. I'm excited for that Kickstarter to launch.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone. And we will see you. Oh, wait. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe. Same thing for the YouTube folks. Like, follow,
Ding.
subscribe. Ding, ding, bells, whistles. You guys are the best. Oh, I even went to the wrong.